Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome on this cold but wonderful Shabbat as we begin a break time for many people. And because of that, we are on YouTube only for this week and next week. And so we welcome all of us to this format, bringing our homes into our hearts and our hearts into our homes as we begin Shabbat together. And we welcome Deborah Comey, who's our Shliach Tzibur this evening. Well, Deborah, wonderful to have you with us. And Deborah is actually in Erie, joined by at her parents' place, Dom and Sue, and I think Janice and Bruce are there also. So we'll get a chance to see them in a little while. And as we begin our Shabbat, we begin with Maya Hayom on page 10. How beautiful this day truly is. As we welcome Shabbat into our hearts, we turn together to page 20. And although it's a little bit cold to go out into the fields and welcome the Shabbat bride, we welcome her into our hearts with Lecha Dodi and into all of our homes on this special evening. Page 20.
Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shemor v'zachor b'dibor echad Hishmi'anu echad echad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'teimal tiferet le'lich la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat v'lechu v'knikla ki hi mekor habarachad mirosh mekedem nusecha sof ma'aseh b'mafashik la 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 lecha lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Oiva shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'tofula tokimenu am segula bo'ichala la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela.
Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat, a psalm, a song for Shabbat. It's good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night with a 10-stringed harp, or in this case with a 6-stringed guitar, maybe, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. The righteous bloom like a date palm, and they thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom alone there is no wrong. So we turn to Shalom Aleichem on page 24. Those words of greeting, those words of expressing an idea that when you say hello to somebody, you more than just greet them, you more than say hello, you give them a blessing, a wish that their lives are full of wholeness and peace. Shalom Aleichem and Alechem Shalom. May on peace be on all of us, and on all of us may there be peace.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sitem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We turn together to Chatzi Kaddish on page 26.
Yitkadal b'yitkadash Shomei Rabbah.
Amen.
B'amadi frachirotei v'yamlik malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'hayedek kol beit Yisrael b'gala uv'izman kariv b'meru. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'alam olam me'amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitharar v'yithaleh Shemei Dekudesha B'richu le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damihiran ve'ama b'meru. Amen.
We turn together to page 28 for Baruch Hu as we tell each other and we tell God that we are ready to pray.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
And on page 30, we join together in Ma'ariv Aravim, thanking God for the miracle and the wonders of creation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim. B'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem b'rakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla goler or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. On page 32, we join in the English, actually on page 33, wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. These are the things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We turn together to page 34 for Shema. As we think of God and all of the mysteries and the complexities of what God could be. And it all comes together in these two few lines. These simple lines that speak of God being unified and one and being ours. We join together.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
And we continue with the Hafta on the following page.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'elech asher Anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha Vishinam tam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך. למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotziiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lehiot lachem leElohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. So we join together in Mi Chamocha, our song of freedom, on page 40.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayam. Lefnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'ameru, Adonai Yimloch, Adonai Yimloch, le'olam va'ed.
Malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, ze'elianu va'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. We turn to page 42 and join in Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai,
Page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We join together in Vishamru on page 44.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We turn together to page 47. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. We join in Amidah, page 46. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agiti latecha. Adonai, open our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise. And on page 48, we join in the Avot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, Elohyun, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imavot, Umevi Gula Lifnei B'nechem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol atah Rav LaHoshia. Mashiv Haruach U'Morid Hagashem, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Melach, מלך ממית ומכהן ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדשים בכל יום וחלוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers, and there may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. Page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness in our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. We take a few moments for the prayers that are in our hearts and in our minds, some moments of silent meditation, silent prayer, time to let the complexities of life fade to the background and bring on that sense of peace and wholeness of Shabbat. We turn together to page 253, and we think of all those in our lives, our family, our friends, people we know, people we've never met, who are struggling with COVID-19 and healing. And so as we send our energies out into the world, we send our energies of healing to all those who continue to struggle with COVID-19, their families and caregivers, their friends and community members. And we think of all those who are struggling with illness and healing for any number of different varieties and ways. And we pray that healing comes soon, a healing of mind and body and heart and soul. We especially mention Greg Bennett and Michael Byron, Scott Gordon, Rebecca Gottlieb, Phyllis Levin, Jacob Adams, Pat Hanna, Irina Shevardskaya, Doug Ford, Bonita Matti, Vyacheslav Eliev, Darlene Sharp, Zachary Jackson, Bruce Harrell, Andrea Kempner Blake, the Rodland family, Terry Harris, Frank Fusaro, Edna Fritz, Frank DeFazio, Katie Elia, Dane Marcinowski, Julie Matthews, and Maggie Lee, Amy Michael, Matea Press, Joe Riley, Joseph Besetner, Edie Francis, Jim McCann, Sheila Cohn, Marilyn Weinecke, Diane Levy, Jenny Neibauer, and Phyllis Solomon. And if others have names to add, please add them into our chat box as we join together in our prayer for healing and send our energies out to all those who need on page 253. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So we're celebrating Shabbat, and there are lots of people around us in our community and in our extended families and friends, perhaps, who are celebrating something else this evening, the beginning of the Christmas holiday. For many, it's a special time filled with family and perhaps religious significance. Actually, Deborah and I were having a conversation earlier as we were preparing, and we just decided that it was Shabbat. Because, and it is, and there is an incredible power to that idea. That idea that although it is an important holiday for others, for us, it is simply Friday night, and Friday night is Shabbat. And that is an amazing thing to be able to celebrate and practice our Judaism as we see fit and in the way we want to. This peaceful experience is something that we often, at least here in North America, we take it for granted. We take this idea that we can do and practice however we want for granted, but we know in the internal sense of our collective memories and our history, we know that it hasn't always been the case. This week, we begin reading the second book of the Torah, the book of Shemot, the book of Exodus. And it begins with perhaps the first large-scale persecution of the Jewish people. The children of Jacob have moved down to Egypt. They have settled there, they have become successful, and then they become a perceived threat to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh, who, as the text says, does not know Joseph and has no idea of the loyalty and the connections, is threatened by this strange group of people who live in a little place called Goshen. And Pharaoh enacts a number of laws of enforced slavery, killing of any male baby born. And within that story, we have the episode of Moses, who is born and quickly floated down the Nile in a basket to save his life, and is found by Pharaoh's daughter, and then quickly, miraculously, almost given back to his birth mother to feed and care for him until he grows up and can join the palace and the royal family. And we quickly see a Moses who, living as part of the royal Egyptian family, stands up and defends an Israelite man from being beaten. And in the process, he kills an Egyptian. And now, afraid for his life, Moses flees and finds himself a home in a distant land called Midian, where he is warmly welcomed and integrated. He marries Zipporah, the daughter of the high priest. And it's at that time that Moses first interacts with God. We have the experience of the burning bush, the bush that burns but is in some miraculous way not consumed. And God speaks to Moses out of the bush and calls on him and says, look, my people are enslaved in Egypt and they are suffering. Please go and get them out. Go and get them out. And Moses begins this process of rediscovering who he is. Through this process, he discovers who he is as a leader of Israel. And he goes back, and of course, we know the story, and eventually we go free and establish ourselves as the people of Israel. Now, we as Jews have lived in perhaps every part of the world. There isn't really a place in the world that we haven't lived, whether it's in far off Africa or Asia or Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Middle East, North America, South America, wherever. We have found the presence of Jewish community. And often we have lived in wonderful harmony, allowing ourselves to, or being allowed to be integrated and accepted and to challenge the larger community and to have a real impact. And sometimes we faced terrible persecution and discrimination. But here and tonight, it's a time of integration and happiness. We are powerfully reminded of how blessed we are to have the freedom to celebrate Jewish life. While so many celebrate their own festivals and holidays and cultures and traditions all around us, and together we weave into a fabric of our community. We each contribute our wonderful selves as we go along our Jewish journey. There is a blessing known as Birkat HaGomel, or the blessing that one might say after one has completed a difficult journey. But it's also, I think, a blessing that you can say as people are beginning and continuing on a journey. And so I'd like to share a version of that song with you, one that my friend and colleague, Rabbi Noam Katz, wrote, and I actually filmed this video while we were up at camp. And it just gives you a great sense of our journey, of our process, of our journey through Jewish life now and in this pandemic time, as we continue to struggle and yet continue to find ways to enhance and beautify our Jewish community. So here we are. I'm going to share my screen.
We have lost and we have learned, persevere through every turn, on this long and ever winding path. We have heard and we have hoped, found the inner strength to cope, even as we've had to catch our breath. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam Shegma lanu kol tov. Amen. We have cried and we have cursed, felt it couldn't get much worse, held on tightly to our tree of life. We have mourned and overcome, giving thanks unto the One for enabling us to reach this day. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam Shegma lanu kol tov. Amen. We have lived another year through the struggles and the fears, and before us possibility.
So we look forward to our own possibilities as we continue our own journeys. And we turn together to page 282 for Elena.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atid gedula le'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyech harazot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot hadama, shelo sam kelchenu chahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam. Ve'nachnu hurim u'mishtakavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim ve'yoser aretz u'moshev yikaro b'shamayim imal Ushkina tuzo, begoed meromin, hu Eloheinu enon, emen malkeinu efesulato, kakatu b'torato, v'dat hayom, v'shviotecha levavecha. Ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim imal, ve'al haaretz mi'ichat ein od. Ve'nemar ve'haya Adonai lamelech al chol haaretz. Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad.
Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and of death. We're in the period of Shloshim for David Rothman, Vivian Posek, and Fran Porras. And we observe the following yahrzeits on this Shabbat of Charles Shapira, Meyer Todsman, Minnie Brody, Figa Cohen, Stanley Ratner, Abraham Hyman, Alexander Solosko, Elaine Kahn Bondi, Jacob F. Myers, Francis Eisenberg Kramer, Celia Reich Mose, Gilbert Schulman, Sr., Minnie Schuster Morris, Louis B. Holkamp, Sr., Martin Sender, Sari Finkelhorn, Joseph Burstein, Isaac Sender, Shirley Spector, Pauline Schaffner, and Jason Jones. If others have names to add, please add their names into our chat box as we turn to the words of Kaddish on page 294, as we take the memories of all we have known and lost into our hearts, as we repeat the ancient words of Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uv'yamechon uv'chayei b'chol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach la'olam u'larmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who grants peace in the high and distant heights grant peace for us, for all Israel, for all the world. And together we say, amen. And Deborah, do we have...
We have some guests coming.
We have some guests coming, excellent. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
go for it.
Okay.
Here we go. Hello,
Hey there.
Janice.
Hello.
Sit down here a little bit.
Okay. Shalom. Shabbat shalom.
We
I
got
guess I'm a little
Janice
hard
and
to feel the right
Sue.
height here. Yeah, I wasn't
Excellent.
planning on doing announcements, but I have them here. There's not much in the way. Shabbat shalom, everybody. So first of all, services this weekend.
So Janice, either stand up or sit down, because all we see is your hair.
Okay.
There we go.
You don't like my hair? Okay.
That's fine, you know.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Okay, so services this weekend are in memory of David Joel Mandel and also Arthur Kalman. And it's also in honor of Adriana Isabel Berberian's birthday and in honor of the 50th wedding anniversary of Joe and Sandy May. So lots of wonderful things that this has been in honor of. And next weekend, on also New Year's Eve, we will have Shabbat. On New Year's Eve, it'll be Shabbat, and so forth. And that will also be on YouTube only. So, and no Torah study tomorrow or next Sunday. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Deborah, thank you so much for leading us beautifully. Thank you.
so much.
And
my pleasure.
we hope to see you again soon.
Yes.
And if we'll all turn together to page 321 as we join in Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra Li'nasa V'chefso Chol Azamelech Shamo Nikra Ve'acharet Kiklot HaKol Levado Yimlach Nora Ve'hu Haya Ve'hu Hove Yehu Yeh Batifara Ve'hu Echad Ve'en Sheni L'hamshilo L'chabrila V'li Reshi balik rashlik Elohos v'hamishra vehu eli v'hai goali Bitsur kavli v'yetara vehu nisi umanos li Menad kosi biyom mekra beado afkid ruki b'et ishan v'hahira b'imruki gaviati Adonai li v'lo ira.
Deborah, again, Yasher Koach, thank you so much. We'll hope to see everybody soon. Stay safe. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi, and everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.